Hi, and welcome to Bespoke Architects Daily Pinup. I'm Nicole Walters, Director of Bespoke Architects, and I'm about to show you what inspiring images made our Pinterest boards today. The first little project that caught my eye today was this little, it's called a rehabilitation of a single family home. What really struck me about this image, just not only was it the strong form and the beautiful ceiling shape that I can see inside that square window. I mean, it's just a beautiful photo, but I really liked the way that this material, the new insertion, is vertical and playing off the sort of horizontal stone and the way they've left the remnant of the old wall there as a sort of reminder. So that was why the project caught my eye. And then I really liked the way they had done their rounded skylights up on the roof. I just thought that was a really nice looking skylight externally. So that's why that project is on the board. This little house here, it was really this image that caught my eye, that huge cantilevered roof, the seemingly lack of structure that's holding that up in this image here. And then we've got these little asymmetrical offset boxes that are sort of working with the slope there and are a solid looking material. So that as a composition for an elevation is beautiful. Again, a beautiful photograph. Then we see on top of the roof in this image and on top of these pods here, and we see that there's actually roof gardens. So that in itself is interesting and adds a level to the design that I really like. And then finally from that project, it's just this detail around this window. It's a glass sliding window. The interior material palette is very simple. We're obviously down now in one of these boxes. And I just really liked the relief that the timber provides and the fact that it has a screen that's sliding with the glass window. So I just thought that was a really nice window and something a bit different, and we can see the concrete sill there. So we can see the timber frame and then the bottom is actually a concrete sill. So I just thought it was a really nice window. The Skybox House had a lot going on for it today. This was the image that caught my eye, that sort of cantilevered parapet form over top of that underground parking space or car parking, and then the first floor level is set back. So it's a really interesting facade, that all the lines that are created there. So that was the image that caught my eye. And then as the images rotate, we see that there's some beautiful landscape steps here externally leading from that public space here up to the front door. And then beneath that down into that basement level where we can see the garage door in this image, they've got some beautiful planter boxes and retaining walls happening. So just even the color palette, the purple and the green offset against the material palette of the house, which is the concrete, the creams and the dark grays, was really, really lovely. From that same property, we see this particular bath shot. So the freestanding bath, their choice to run these really highlight windows in that bathroom, providing a lot of light and privacy. And then the way that the wall tile goes from the floor to the underside of the window frame and just really sets off that bathtub beautifully. Also, the staircase from that property is really interesting. We can see it's an open timber tread stair where we can see the steel structure is exposed on the outside edges, and then the frameless glass balustrade. So it feels like a really light staircase, and it's got that beautiful full height window. It reminds me very much of a project that we're currently got on site in Drumcondra, which explains my hair today. It is freezing here in Geelong and I've had a beanie on, so forgive me. My hair didn't want to behave when I took it off again. From that same project, the kitchen as well. I just really like the material palette, the fact that there are no overheads on this wall of the kitchen, which is obviously their cooking wall. They've gone for the sort of the shrouded range hood, and then just this beautiful marble, and then the really giant cooker, and then the island bench has the sink, and then the back wall, assumably, where we can see some overheads over that low-lying window, and we see the door there, so we're going to assume an integrated fridge and pantry. So just a really nice level of detailing in that property, both externally, landscaping, and internally. This little project here, it was that light fitting in the bathroom that caught my eye. There were a lot of really interesting stairs about today. So just the balustrade on this stair and the fact that the stair treads cantilevered out from the wall, and then we see this catwalk above and the skylight. I mean, it's a beautiful image, but just the balustrade was the thing that caught my eye, as was the balustrade on this project here, where we've got that sort of that curved shape. It is a mesh tread, so it does let light through. Again, in Australia, that particular style of balustrade would need a solid infill in it to be regulation compliant, but that's not to say it's not a beautiful staircase. And then the other end of the spectrum, you've got this really solid staircase where it's a solid tread and riser. We see the solid wall of the return, but given the fact that the material palette is light in color, it's still not a heavy staircase. So that's why that image made the board. And then the mezzanine itself in this beautiful staircase project made the board, just the way they've sort of created this boxed frame around that mezzanine. It does have a glass frameless balustrade across there, and that is above the kitchen. I often pin a lot of two-story voids with mezzanines and the loft style of living. This is quite a contemporary take on that. It's very square, and I like the fact that they've used sort of the blonde timbers over top of the blacks and the light greys. It's a really nice palette of materials and creates a really nice, interesting internal space rather. This vanity here, it was just the choice of lighting, the really round mirror, the fact that they've gone for that sort of soap dispenser suspended off the wall, and then their choice of vanity unit itself. So I'm assuming this here is solid with no storage, and then we've got storage underneath. And complementing that sort of mezzanine kitchen palette, we can see that they've got the blonde timbers again, the sort of whitey greys, and then the dark. So they've carried their color palette through the design, which is, you know, something I'm always a fan of. Another staircase that caught my eye today was this steel and timber, and we can see that it's like little triangles. So that was really interesting. Here is a detail of that same stair. So I really like the way that the balustrade is fixed to the steel, and the tread is actually the thing fixed to the wall. So it's quite a beautiful staircase and really visually quite interesting. And again, we see the window at the back there letting light into that space. And finally, for today's pin-up, it was this kitchen island bench. What I really liked about it was the fineness of that bench top and waterfall end. It sort of presents as a solid box, and then it has this relief of the timber. There's no door furniture on this joinery unit. It's all finger pull or push to release, and it's just exquisite. It's exquisite in its detailing, and the warmth of the materials is really nice as well. So they were all the inspiring images that have made our Pinterest board today. If you would like to see more of what I have pinned over the years, and it is a year's worth of pins on my page, then please do check it out. They are organized by category, by room, with some categories under that. I do have some of these videos up on Pinterest. I do have some of these videos up on Instagram, but you can find the full series of Bespoke Architects Daily Pinup on our YouTube channel. Until tomorrow, thanks for joining me. Have a great evening. Thanks. Bye.